Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for our session on data monetization best practices. My name is Lauren, and I'm the content manager for the Google Cloud community. And leading our session today is Skander, head of solutions for embedded analytics and monetization at Google Cloud. And we are also thrilled to have Raúl with us, the head of data engineering at Plentific. So thank you both. Before diving in, I want to remind everyone that questions are encouraged, so please feel free to add those into the YouTube chat box, and we'll be sure to get to them either in the chat or at the end of the presentation. We also had a couple pre-submitted questions that we'll cover as well. And for any questions that we don't get to, please utilize the Google Cloud community, and the link to that is in the YouTube description. It's there where you can ask questions, find answers with your peers and with Googlers. All right, with that, I will hand it over to you, Skander, to take it away with the content.
Thank you so much, Lauren. I'm so excited to share the panel with Raúl today. So what we've prepared for you is obviously data monetization is a really broad topic, but first and foremost, we wanted to talk about why data monetization. So we'll try to bring some clarity around the why data monetization and why is it important for you. There's no better way to illustrate it with some use cases. So we try to bring some good use cases for you and hopefully giving you some ideas on how you can go to market. Also, I will, for those who don't know, I'll give you a brief overview on what are the capabilities that Looker and Google Cloud can offer to help you shape your next generation of data product. Also, I'm honored to have Raúl, who is not just one of our customers, but someone I consider as a friend. So Raúl, welcome, and he will walk you through Plentific and what Plentific does and how they productize their data, but also how do they go to market with data. Without waiting, I wanted to get started on a story that I think is that has inspired me a lot when it comes to data monetization. This company that was still a satellite company, help containers around the world to carry commodities and all sort of things, and they were monitoring the itinerary of those tankers while they were capturing this data. We call it the space value chain. They were capturing the data of the location, the ID of the boat, the timestamp, the coordinates, and when this satellite company was capturing all this data, they were storing it, of course, in a database. And the way they were selling data, so the way they were monetizing data, was rows and columns. So when we worked with them, with their data engineering team, we said, well, there's probably a better way than just sharing rows and columns to tell your clients where the boats are. There's probably some insights that we can harness in order to help your customers really unlocking more value out of this data that, of course, costs a lot on where's my boat, or where are my boats. Like, think of companies like the CMA, the Chevron, the Maersk, and all those companies that have very large fleet of containers. So we started to brainstorm and design what we call data products around the route optimization, fuel economy, by providing insights on what's the better route, or when there's, like, for example, too many people on too many boats at a harbor, to support also sharing data with Maritime Port Authority. So having said that, and as a conclusion of this really quick intro on again, one of the most fascinating things is what I've learned is to never, don't think of data monetization as selling data. We never, in our business of productizing data, we don't sell data. We provide insights to our customers, to your customers. And this is something I've learned and that is really dear to me. And hopefully today we will cover a lot of those aspects. Speaking of not selling data, something that you read a lot, that I read myself a lot, and being technologists, we also have to evolve in a economic geopolitical environment, and everything that we read is data is the new oil. I completely disagree. I don't think data is the new oil. I think data is a potential resource. And there's a lot of work to be done to transform this data into insights and to strategic information for your customers to unlock value. And so what we are very cautious about when we help monetizing this data is, in fact, we say, well, you won't be able to get data as an asset. You're going to have to transform this data into information, use of course, visualization, prediction, analytics, and also application to deliver this information to help your customers. So this is something also that I wanted to preface before jumping into this trend. And I wanted also to trying to filter the noise of those big headlines that are always saying like, oh, data is the new oil. How many times I sit with our customers, they say, well, we have a lot of data. We are sure there's a lot of value into it, but we don't know where to start. So one thing that I do agree, though, is data monetization will be probably one of the biggest revenue generator for companies. A lot of companies, even traditional and legacy, like think of like retailers, think of insurance, think of agriculture, think of all those industries that are being digitally transformed by going to the cloud, by adopting generative AI, by, of course, leveraging data analytics, will more and more productize data. You will hear more and more the words data product as opposed to dashboards and reports. So this is something we see a lot. And actually, by 2026, probably there is a study that would be encompassing for a quarter of Fortune 500 company. One of their top revenue maker will be a data product. Why it's so important for us, all of us data practitioners, actually, head of product, CEOs, data analysts, and all of us working with data. This is not a prediction. This is probably something that I'm the most excited about. And I've been working in data analytics for I think 17 years, actually a little bit more than 17 years now. There's a huge opportunity for all of us working on business intelligence, building data analytics, and creating smarter and smarter insights across finance, marketing, HR, supply chain. What we see is with the data productization, like creation of data product, and turning this data product to our external customers outside of the company, is a huge opportunity for all of us to move from a cost center to a profit center by externalizing those insights, not just to us, the employees, but to our ecosystem. So to your ecosystem, partners, distributors, and customers. So you're going to see, and you're already seeing more and more for SaaS product. You already see more packages. When you see like tiers of product, you already start seeing like, hey, if you buy the enterprise or the premium product of our solution, of our service, you're going to see like extended capabilities when it comes to reporting and data insights. So again, try to remember, like this data monetization implies there will be a huge shift from BI practitioners, business intelligence, data analysts, data analytics engineers, to help companies to productize, and hence moving from a cost center to a profit center. Now, because I'm of course so grateful to share something that I've learned, and actually from you, our customers, future customers, prospect, and data practitioners, is when it comes to data monetization, there's actually only 3 ways to go to market. That's something that really surprised me when I compiled all this information and analyzing the go-to-market strategy of all clients that you can imagine we're touching around the world. And the first one is at the bottom is called indirect monetization. Indirect monetization is all the insights that are surfaced in the product that will help driving the product lifecycle of the product. Meaning you're going to give free insights to some customers to acquire them, to retain them, most importantly, to engage them, providing, and of course, I will give you some example. but also to help them increasing transaction, if that's your business model, but also to help competing. You provide maybe more insights in your product, more data analytics on your product to compete with another player in your field. The second one on top is called direct monetization. Direct monetization is when you package those insights, productize it, and offer them to your customers with a premium attached to it. And Diamond, which is the third one, Diamond is typically a combination of indirect plus direct monetization. And that will also your customers to explore not just the dashboard, the different reports that you've built, but they will also be able to choose the columns, how they want the data, in order to sometimes go further down the road of those data products, but also to bring this data inside their warehouse. There's no better way to give you examples of what do I mean by direct monetization. Drizzly is one of my favorite company when it comes to creating data products and going to market with those data products with a very powerful data monetization strategy. Drizzly is a mobile application that allows users to deliver alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages. Think of, I live in San Francisco, I can order champagne for a celebration, etc. On my mobile application. So they harness all the data from all the different customers in North America. So their business is mostly B2C, business to consumer, and providing those transactions. What they've done at Drizzly is they were doing all this business intelligence with analyzing sales data, analyzing competitive data, and ranking the top alcohol, popular. Let's say what are the top 5 most popular alcohol, let's say in Miami versus New York versus San Francisco. And what they said is, how about we offer packaged insights to distributors, but also beverages company. So they productize this data by saying, hey, we're going to offer different sets of data product. So you see, they don't call it dashboards and reports. We're going to package them, and then we're going to rank some of those business questions into by monetary value and package it up. And what they've done is they created a huge B2B business using this data product. Another way, so that was for the direct monetization. Indirect monetization is what you see here. I think you read more and more articles where you see some insights that are given away for free that basically help converting more customers. So for example, here they use insights using Looker, but they surface that in an article and they say insights from Drizzly, top 5 Italian wine red grapes. So they provide, I would say, some more simplistic insights that engage with customers. So for basically marketing their paying data product, they already offer some insights for free. That's what we call indirect monetization. Another great company using a data product plus data monetization strategy is Wix.com, which I'm sure most of you know today. Wix has created 2 data products called Sales Analytics for e-commerce, and also another one is called Visitor Analytics. They've embedded Looker using our embedded offering plus API in order to create, I would say, a logical offering for their customers who have questions. For example, if you build an e-commerce with Wix, you're going to ask question, what's my sales over time, sales by item, sales by coupon. One thing that I love about them is how simple, efficient their data product is by not creating those complex dashboards, but focusing on business answers. When you create those data products, it's always important to think for the audience, and your audience might not be business analysts. So it's very different from building business intelligence capabilities. Another companies that I'm a super fan of using Looker embedded offering to provide more capabilities for them to deploy and actually create analytics solution customized to the different market they have is Affinity.co. Same thing what you see here on the screen, iframe, but you will see in a moment also how Raúl has leveraged Looker, I would say in a similar fashion when it comes to the embedding and the integration. Another companies here that I invite you to look up is Mighty Networks. This company based out of California. I think they're in Palo Alto, if I'm not mistaken. Is basically a platform to build community. And of course, what they want to offer to the community is more value. And in order to bring them more value, what they've done is they created data product to offer, for example, benchmarking, to provide all the insights around community, who are the top member of the community who are engaged, how do you convert or how do you retain more of the community members by having a full suite of data product. And what I like about this data product, it helps mighty networks to augment the value in the package that they have for businesses. A lot of the indirect and direct monetization go-to-market are here to help you not just selling data product, but also to help you selling your core product and core services by augmenting the plate of value you're offering to your customers. One other way to think about data monetization and the opportunity that all of us have to help our organization being more capable when it comes to productizing and offering more SKU to our companies. When you think of a data product, oftentimes you can create more than one data product, and you can have more than one strategy and more. You can create as many data product as segment of customers that you have. So think of, for example, this company that I'm sure you all know, Atlassian, that has created, and I'm not sure you can read it on the screen, but has created almost one product per theme of insight. So if you think of like operational efficiency analytics, on-call analytics, and user and team productivity analytics, they've really listed all the SKU of data product that they will offer in a premium package. So that's like a full exercise of direct monetization. Now, we talked about data monetization go-to-market strategies. We've seen some use cases. I just want to show you a little bit of how Looker can help you building those data products and what are the main capabilities that you can extract and really bring to your product within day one by embedding them. So for those who don't know Looker, and before talking about embedded analytics, I'm just going to give you a quick overview of Looker in a nutshell. Looker is a cloud BI platform. It's part of the Google Cloud family, the Google Cloud Data Analytics product family. And think of Looker with really like three pillars. One is, of course, the dashboard, trusted exploration on top of a semantic layer called LookML, that you will be able to get, the so-called dashboards. Another powerful capabilities of Looker are workflow that allows you, deliver data where it needs to be delivered, like, scheduler, sending to your favorite instant messaging system. And last but not least, you have an API, like Looker is API first, allows you creating custom application. I'm not going to spend too much time on our logos, but of course we have Plentific today, where you will see more Looker in action in their product. When it comes to embedded analytics, I understand that not everyone is familiar with the word embedded, but basically embedded really allow you to publish the analytics data product to your customers or internally to some other departments. So you have three flavors to embed Looker. OEM, so it's basically full Looker application, but you can customize the logo, you can customize literally everything about Looker and onboard your customer day one. Iframe, it's basically everything, all the dashboards, you can bring them into your web app with few lines of HTML. And then, of course, the API, application programming interface, which is the other interface of Looker that brings you basically data, insights, straight into your web app, where you can pick any visualization that you like or any workflows that you want. The four, if you have to remember four capabilities that are, I would say, super, super trendy when it comes to augmenting the value. For example, when you say, hey, we have this new data product that we want to bring to your customers, these are the four capabilities that you can also market up. You can offer custom reporting. You can basically let your customers create new dashboards of existing dashboards. For example, you have sales data that you want to provide to your partners, but your partners, they want to see sales data by country. They want to slice and dice it, but they want to create a more appealing dashboard to really meet their need. So embedded also allow you not just to present information like yet another dashboard, but it also allows your customers to create new content by exploring data. So that's the second capability. Fourth one, we already covered. Third one is the API, custom visualization, creating new workflows. And the last one is really scheduling. I think scheduling is one of the most important because you don't expect your customers to reach your content. So scheduling content, the most important information right into the mailbox of your customers is a way, one of the best way to engage with them. So just to show you the iframe in action, but you will see it in a better fashion with Raúl and Plentific. The iframe will really allow you to bring at top speed of integration any dashboards that you've built inside Looker into your web application, but also managing everything that you guys don't want to build, like row-level security, authentication, permissioning, like this set of customers. I don't want them to see download data. I don't want them to be able to download data. These customers, I want to be able to explore data, and this, of course, is going to be part maybe of your offering by unlocking not just new data product, but also pricing capabilities of the permissions offered by Looker. On the integration, one thing that we've noticed is, especially when it comes to embedded and building data product, what we've noticed is our customers want to create applications that are intersecting more services. For example, they want to intersect Google Map with some insights using our API, and then they want to intersect maybe with a text messages services to bring and create new data product. So one thing our customers are huge fan of is our Looker API. Looker is API first, meaning all the functionalities of Looker that you see via the interface are available via the API. We actually have over 1,000 functions available in our API, ranging from data retrieval, security, administration, and content. Long story short, you can build pretty much any application using all capabilities of Looker outside of the out-of-the-box interface. I know it was a little long, and you guys are really troopers to bear with me before the really most interesting part, which is about Plentific. But I just wanted to give you a quick, actually my favorite checklist. When I don't know where to start, I work with customers all day, every day, or everywhere around the world, and we always start by, hey, Skander, we have all those, we all have those dashboards, we have all this data, but we don't know what to do with it. So my checklist is, first, always remember, we sell insights and not raw data. Second, always name your data product. Don't say you have a dashboard and you have all those KPI. If you do operational efficiency, call it operational efficiency. If you call something like yield analysis, called yield analysis, etc., etc. So always name your product. Identify what we call golden KPIs. For each data product, you need to identify the golden KPI. Think of when you hop on a Uber ride, you have the rating. The rating is a golden KPI. It helps driving the behavior for the driver, but also for you, the passenger, to be a better passenger, and for the driver to be a better driver. So very, very important. Inject proof of value. If you create a data product that saves money to your customer, just don't show the trend of saving. Tell them how much you save them. This is a huge opportunity to exemplify why your customers need your product. So tell them with data and with insights. Last but not least, with all those data products, this methodology, the second thing that I ask our customers to do is, can you tell us about the segmentation of your customers? When you guys are going to start segmenting your customers, you will be able to create different data products in order to meet the demand and the need of your segment. The clients that you have that are startup versus the clients that you have of larger company probably don't need the same data products. Well, thank you so much for bearing with me. And if you have any question, of course, we are here. But I'm so glad, Raúl, to have you. And I will let you take the floor.
Thank you very much, Skander. Lots of useful information. I'm Raúl. I'm the head of data engineering at Plentific, and I'll try first to quickly introduce what Plentific is, because it's a B2B company. So probably many of you haven't heard about it. Plentific is a data driven property management platform, and we always say platform because we started as a marketplace where we were matching the supply and demand between property managers and contractors and trade professionals, but we really have evolved into orchestrating all the workflows that you can imagine. We have three main stakeholders within our platform. We have the property managers, we have the contractors, which are the people who actually do the jobs at the properties, and we have a third pillar, which are the residents, in the case when they are residential properties. We try to manage the whole life cycle of work orders that can possibly happen in a property. So we manage everything from repairs, compliance. So you can think of gas or electrical compliance. You can think of gardening or roofing jobs, electrical, plumbing. I think we have more than 50 categories of trades and services. And we handle everything from the moment the issue occurs on a property. So entering description, images, and we have different channels. So we have our web platform, we have mobile apps for the residents, and then we also manage what happens on the other side of the platform, which are the contractors quoting to try to get those jobs. So we have this marketplace, and it's a really big platform at the moment. Those numbers have actually increased since I introduced this slide here. We're probably close to 1.5 million properties, and we are in many different sectors, processing hundreds of thousands of work orders. We are going to explain one part of what Plentific does, specifically with the module that we call Advanced Analytics. Advanced Analytics is our flagship data product, which is able to, on both sides, on the contractor side and on the property management side, give insights to the property managers and tradespeople. And what we tried, or why we tried to do this, is because the traditional prop tech landscape or property management platforms or software that you could buy, you can even think 20 years ago or 30 years ago, you could buy a software in a CD, it would be running in some office and someone would be managing a couple of hundred properties. Our idea is that for every property that gets into the platform and for every work order that it's processed and paid through the platform, for Plentific to become better at matching those jobs between property managers and contractors, because it wouldn't be useful if we had, instead of 100,000 properties, if we have 1 million properties. If there was no intelligence behind the scenes, the platform wouldn't add really that much value, and it would be replicatable by many other companies. So our mode is the data and the insights that we can provide to all the stakeholders in our platform. And I'm going to try to go through the different strategies that we have researched and implemented in Plentific, and try to map them to this triangle that Skander shown in his presentation. For direct monetization, we have the advanced analytics module. It's you can think of it as the Google Analytics of property management almost, and we offer it on both sides of the platform. Actually, the supply side is very recent. We released it last summer, so we are very proud of that. And within this module, we offer some insights and some golden metrics that we'll go over them. And we have also some layers on top of that for seat management and license management that we have built for our customers. Apart from the direct monetization, we have indirect monetization, which is using the first or second derivative of the data and the insights and spread it. So we sprinkle it throughout the platform. We don't charge for that. So all clients who are already paying to be part of Plentific, they have access to these features such as quote competitiveness or workload indicators, and you'll see an example in a few minutes. So with this, we're going to go directly to a demo. I'll speak a little bit on top of the recorded video. All right, so first here we see how we manage the seat allocation in the advanced analytics product that we offer. As you can see in this example, there is one seat allocated from 3. We give the possibility to add new members, or from users which are already registered within an organization, you can add them. We are also able to, in a granular manner, enable or disable specific sections of the advanced analytics module. And we are also able, via our customer service, to increase the number of seats. So we productize this so they can pay for more seats. We enable them, and then they can go back to the admin panel and add more. And within the advanced analytics module, we have different tiers. So there are premium, more premium modules, because all modules are paid. The more premium modules, which can be also specific to some companies in some specific sectors, and they can also be added or removed from the administration panel. Now, jumping directly into the product, we have built a menu. This is the interface from the Plentific platform, and this is a menu that gives you access to the different sections in advanced analytics. We have grouped them in a logical way to facilitate the access. And the first one that we are going to see is sorry, the quote effectiveness. So the quote effectiveness is one of the key metrics that we see, because we try to run a healthy marketplace where there is liquidity and the quotes are within reasonable bounds. We manage, here you're now seeing a drill down. We try to see what are the completion times, what are the percentage of times a certain property manager is choosing the lowest quote, and what are the main KPIs, and we try to show them in big numbers at the top, also offering the possibility to download it. We try to be a bit careful, not showing too much information. We have iterated a lot before doing this, because we the first versions that we did, we kind of were dumping raw data, but this has now evolved into tables or graphics that are really showing you success rates, so that they are derived insights. They are not first level raw data. And for example, now you're seeing the location property management, which is really important since it drives the unit economics of what we do. We want to see how much revenue are we driving for every property that we have onboarded into the platform. So it's important to see which properties do we have in the platform but have not yet had any revenue or any work order associated to that. We're able to break it down per business units, which usually correspond to geographical sections, and obviously the classic stuff in our vertical, which is trade, services like electrical, plumber, you name it. We have hundreds there. Apart from location management, we have the dispatch overview. In dispatch overview, we have also very important, you would call them golden metrics with the terminology that Skander introduced. So stuff such as percentage of visits or work orders that were resolved on the first visit to a property. This is super important in our sector because it really lowers the cost of the work orders and lowers the cost of time to completion from the moment a resident has raised an issue until it's done and evaluated and paid and reviewed. And here we have, I would say, the crown jewel of our advanced analytics module, which is the HWIP, which means AIDS, work in process, work orders. So they are work orders which have been a lot of time stuck at some of the points in the process. So they could be waiting for a booking, so for the visit of a contractor to a specific site or property, waiting for a quote variation. So the person went to a property, saw that there was something different, and you need to modify the initial value that you provided. So there's really a lot of value that we add with these golden KPI metrics. And actually, this one is one that we did not came up with. It was something that we came up with after hearing the feedback from our customers. So this is actually customer driven, the creation of these dashboards. Obviously, we use all sorts of drill down functionality to try to find the attribution in our case of where are those work orders getting stuck, because this is what will lower the time to completion. And the value we are offering our clients at the end of the day is, hey, if you onboard with us, you're going to be able to manage your 100,000 properties that you have through the platform in X lower time than you're doing right nowadays with your legacy methods. So these are really, really key metrics. we're going to move now to the next slide. Now I'm going to talk a bit about the indirect part of the monetization. So these, like I mentioned, are features that we have spread throughout the platform. And in this case, you could even call them second derivative of insights. So for example, I just talked about the age sweep, so the time that the work order has been in progress. And here we have provided a workload indicator. So workload indicator is a complicated formula, complex formula that we developed, which tries to correlate the number of work in order of work orders that are in process with the number of operatives that the company has. How many of those work orders in average is this company able to cross in a certain period of time? So based on that, we generate an indicator and we show this to the clients who have to choose a quote from different types of contractors. And this workload can really guide them into choosing one which in their opinion would be more adequate to solve their needs faster, which is one of the key components of the value that we are adding. And on the left side, you can see that we have a text saying price slightly above market price. So we use machine learning in order to provide this. And what we are doing here is, as you probably know, property management, and especially the work that happens on properties, is priced very widely. It's the wild west of pricing. You can get quotes for a plumbing job or an electrical job from $100 to $600 for the same thing very easily. So we try to put some order into the marketplace and try to make sure that it's a bit more healthy. And using machine learning and a combination of a data warehouse, DBT, and Looker, we provide this information to our contractors in this case, so that when they are quoting, when they are creating their line items of the labor, the items that they are going to use to generate this quote, we tell them if we think that this quote is going to be out of range for what we think is a fair quote within the current market. All right. And now we're going to jump a bit into the architecture. Nothing very technical, just a high level on how this works behind the scenes. And if you look at this graph, you have to look from the left to the right. That's the data flow. We have our production databases sitting in Postgre databases, and some others in smaller in MySQL. And those are our production databases that are actually in the framework Django. We ingest them almost in real time. And then we have some secondary sources of data coming from the CRM, from Salesforce, from NetSuite for the finance team, and some other smaller ones. When we ingest them, we replicate them as is to our data warehouse. In this case, it's Snowflake, and we start a series of denormalizations and transformations. We call them the first level of denormalization. Once we have consumable data by Looker, we call it the marts layer using DBT terminology. We feed it to Looker, and we use Looker in very different ways. So we use Looker internally for our employees, which is not the subject of this presentation today. We also use it for embedded analytics, which feeds the product that we call advanced analytics. And we even have other use cases. So we have some things going on via the API, and we of course also schedule reports via email, and we also have it connected to Slack in some cases. So there are lots of different workflows. All right. Now moving from the architecture to the actual productization. During the demo, I have touched upon some of these elements, but I'll go a bit more in detail now. You saw that we have built a seat management layer in our own Plentific user interface. What we do with this layer is being able basically to manage the available seats that an organization has bought from Plentific, and let this organization allocate these seats freely within their users in a, like you saw, in a granular manner and in a tier fashion, because there are different users allocated to different tier level accesses. And then regarding the pricing, what we do is we try to give a couple of free seats depending on the size of the organization, on how many properties the organization is onboarding with us. and above that free number of seats, they can buy whatever they need. We of course give them a couple of months of free trial, and we try to adjust the pricing for the characteristics of each organization. Actually, we have even developed something that you would call at the top of you would place at the top of the pyramid that Skander was showing, which is of the diamond level, because some are custom made for some of our biggest clients. So they are sections within advanced analytics that we only enable for those specific clients based on very specific needs from their industry. And then we also, the pricing is as you know, is probably more art than science. We try to balance it. This is one of the big typical questions in these conversations. We try to balance it with the cost of operating all of this, the data warehouse, especially in a multi-tenant setup like we have. But it's more art than science. And then on the last slide, I wanted to touch upon a bit on the total cost of ownership and the return on investment of this particular product that we sell to our clients, advanced analytics. Because for us, and the proof of this, that this is very valuable, is that almost all clients, one of the modules that you always see in the initial setup of almost all clients is advanced analytics. And the issue is that the value it adds, and the value it adds, it's not anything else, nothing else than lowering the total cost of ownership for them. So for any client, what we want for them is, if you have 10 employees and they're managing 500 properties, we want that you, with those 10 employees, be able to manage 5,000 properties. This is what Plentific enables, and this is the value added. And then price becomes a secondary in the equation. So we really try to emphasize that using Plentific, we will lower all the time it takes for a work order for going from raised to completed to pay, etc. And advanced analytics is what tells you exactly how to lower each one of those phases, providing either data which comes from insights, or even first or second derivative, like I was showing in the indirect monetization. I think with this, I'm done.
Fantastic.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Raúl. Thank you, Skander, for your presentation and demos and information that you shared. Before we dive into Q&A, we did just want to share a few additional resources. So here you can see those on the screen. That first is the cloud community. So the link is also in the YouTube description. If you have any additional questions that we're not able to cover today, this is the space to be able to do that. So you can engage with Googlers and your peers in forums and ask questions and find answers. And you can also stay up to date on future events like this one. With that said, we also have an event feedback form. So I'll drop that into the chat shortly, but this is just going to take about 30 seconds to a minute. And we'd love to hear your feedback on this session, and if you have any ideas for future topics that we should cover. And then lastly, I wanted to highlight a few additional upcoming events that we have. You can see them all at that third link, but just a high-level overview is next week on the 4th, we have an AI readiness session, and then a data analytics Ask Me Anything session on the 11th. And then we'll also be diving into Gen AI with security on the 25th. All right, with that, I think we'll jump into some of the pre-submitted questions that we received. If you have any additional questions, please use that form or the the YouTube chat, and we'll be sure to get to them. So let's dive right in. All right, our first question is, how do I know if my data is valuable?
I think that's a very good question everyone has, and what worked best for us was talking to our customers and try to literally sitting down next to them and see how they operated our platform, and see, for example, how many clicks it took them to do X workflow, right? And what we try to do with this, with our analytics module, is lower the number of clicks, lower the time it takes to use our platform. Actually, it sounds counterintuitive because many people would tell you, hey, you need to actually get the people to stay in your platform, your social network, more time, to get it to be a sticky platform. But for us, it actually works the other way around. For us, when we add more value is when they use our platform less time. And the only way we found to discover this is sitting down with them, talking a lot with them, and actually some, like I mentioned in the slide, some of the analytics sections that we developed were almost completely based on the feedback that we got from them.
Makes sense. Thanks for sharing that. All right, our next question is, can we have hands-on technical training on how to embed dashboards to a simple web application?
Thanks, Lauren and Raúl. That was I was really like I think I'm the one who have probably more question, but I will wait after our question. The answer, Lauren, is of course working with the Looker team and contacting the Google Cloud team in order to learn about Looker and how to get Looker embedded and get your first data product is our job. Our job is to help you setting up your first, what I call database to dashboard, like really building the first data product, kind of what Raúl mentioned, like helping you also identifying the work in progress, your golden KPI and all of that. And of course, later on, we will, in the what we call a trial process, we will embed Looker and also show you how to embed Looker. If you already want to know how to implement it, you can already Google Looker embed and have a preview. And also, there's a great video, I think, a great playlist on Looker embedded that covers all the technical components of it. But the long story short is we will not only train you and also work toward your use case. So it's not a generic. We will really tailor the experience to onboard you.
Fantastic. Thanks, Skander.
Of course.
Okay, so our last pre-submitted question here is, what are some of the services available via Google Cloud Platform for data monetization?
That's actually an excellent question because I think it even goes beyond Google Cloud. I will answer first with Google Cloud, but I think if you think of what we've talked about around data monetization, in order to do and to operate like Raúl did with all his products around data monetization, you need to think about a data product. A data product is built with multiple ingredients. Think of a data product as like a recipe. And at Google Cloud, we have many ingredients to cover data ingestion. Think of like data prog, PubSub, data flow. We also have different databases that offer different capabilities. Think of like BigQuery that supports structured, semi-structured data, completely serverless, also integrating BigQuery machine learning engine that basically is machine learning on top of SQL. And we also have other services that helps us, for example, monetizing, creating like a data marketplace, such as Analytics Hub. And last but not least, remember when we talked about productizing data? Productizing data is obviously not just like data visualization. You can also, a lot of your customers may want to consume data via API in order to integrate data and insights into their product. So we have something called APG. There's another ingredient, and all of these ingredients communicate together. But going back to Raúl, and I need to be fair with, as a technologist to the market, you can also mix and match, of course, Google Cloud product like Raúl that has a data stack that is extended with dbt, Snowflake. That also works perfectly. Great question.
Excellent. Thank you both. Okay, with that, we do have one additional question that has come in. And then Skander, if you have any additional questions for Raúl or just in general, we can cover those. But first, from the audience, we have, how do you recommend transitioning from charging for data services or insights monthly if your customers are used to fixed price contracts?
Hey, Dave. Excellent question. And I'm sure, Raúl, if you feel free to add some flavors. What when you start when you start this practice of creating new data product, new insights, and to your point, your customers are maybe used to a fixed contract, and you cannot basically go from 0 to 1. For them, it would be a hard transition. What we've noticed as a transition is data monetization, and actually takes time. So offer to your customer, for example, this data product for free. Mention that it's going to be and I'm not saying what to do, but I'm just giving you some ideas. But package this data product. Let's say you want to provide them something called Advanced Insights product. Tell them that they are your great customer and you're going to transition within 6 months or 1 year with sufficient amount of time. Tell them how much it's going to cost, and educate them on why is it going to be better. Try also to add and incorporate more capabilities into this product, so they understand that there is not just a switch of pricing, but maybe also there's augmented capabilities. And then offer this service for 6 months, 1 year on the side. So that's one thing that we've noticed. A lot of our customers are kind of like giving a trial of those data products with a transition period that is oftentimes, with what I have in mind, between 3 to 12 months. And again, this is, I hope it helped. Raúl, I don't know if you have any suggestion.
I think we try to follow similar strategies to what you mentioned. We try to offer the product, the advanced analytics module for free to almost all clients that onboard with us. Obviously, we don't give the product to the whole organization. We try to be very picky in which people we choose within the organizations that we work with to make sure that they're actually valuable, and we try to direct them so to train them in the usage, because at the beginning they might be lost. So we try to give a free period of time with a limited number of licenses, and then scale back. And in this case, it's the opposite to what I mentioned before. In this case, you really need for it to be sticky. So it needs to be used for it to be valuable before you can roll back the free trial.
Great. Makes good sense. Appreciate those insights and recommendations. So please, again, we have just about 10 minutes left. If you have any additional questions, please use that chat. Otherwise, Skander, did you have any additional questions for Raúl that you wanted to ask while we have his time?
Yeah, I think and Raúl, I'm super impressed. And the reason why Lauren and we were excited to have you is how great of an implementation, but most importantly, how of an impact you make for your customers with this data product. So congratulations, not just of course on Looker, but the overall data application. One thing that you mentioned to us, and we love our customers, how they're growing, but are there anything that you could share to our audience? Like, are you guys, for example, I think you mentioned you guys are hiring, and do you want to, since we have time, is there anything that you want to share? Because it's always a good time, to join some of the most fabulous companies, the innovators of the world.
Yeah, we have a couple of initiatives going on. Well, we have always new insights being added to the core advanced analytics module, but we also have indirect monetization strategies going on. For example, we are working on scoring mechanisms for work orders. So in a similar behavior to trying to moderate the price in the platform and give some indicator of work orders, we try to see if the input given by the person who lives in a property is enough to determine a price correctly. So are you giving enough details? So and there's lots of machine learning involved behind the scenes, which we then have to transform and manipulate before we display it, and that will be shown as indirect monetization. And yes, we are starting to explore some basic AI infrastructure and building blocks, which we hopefully will release during 2024. And we are hiring, so everyone can go into Plentific careers and check out, and in case there's anything interesting for you.
Awesome.
Thank you for sharing that. And thank you for your question that has also just come in. So here. Are there any data privacy or GDPR concerns related to insights, and how are governance and compliance issues managed in this context? Any thoughts from both of you?
I mean, my short answer and yes, especially with the proliferation of data product there are many criteria when it comes to data privacy, GDPR. There are some, I would say, fundamentals around what you say around the privacy, but there are also some rules, international rules. When you think of like PCI for the credit card, if you think of also data sovereignty, where the data needs to be, for example, if you think of countries like Germany, where not only you need the data to stay in Germany and have all the data applications. So there are many ways of answering the question. One thing that we at Google and actually many technological actors are focusing on is offering the security, the permissioning control, and of course, like, when you think of like penetration test, also like, all the compliance around our systems to be in line with enterprise grade security. Nonetheless, we also tell our customers to always be responsible, because at the end of the day, you can have, you can open the permission and I mean, long story short, our customers are always responsible on the good use of our platform. But Raúl, maybe you have some thoughts, or how do you approach it from actually a specific use case?
Yeah, I guess it's very specific to every industry, but in our case, we do handle lots of PII, personal information from our customers. So we always develop our products with a privacy first design, and obviously it's important to get legal and compliance departments involved to make sure they greenlight any initiative.
Great. Thank you both. And thank you all. I think we have a couple of additional questions that we'll cover. So one here from Dom. Who were the key decision makers internally when you decided to monetize your data, and who was the ultimate decision maker?
That's actually, that's a fascinating question, but oftentimes, and remember when I talked about moving from cost center to profit center, what's fascinating about teams working in the data analytics space, they can suggest data product to the leadership. I think decision makers internally are often found either around the head of product, like product owners, all other decision makers, and the one that will be intimately connected to data monetization is going to be the CEO, and of course the C-suite, as well as huge interest from the chief revenue officer, your chief financial officer. Why? Because this initiative is profit center oriented. Another way to answer the question is every leader is in charge of growing sales, growing revenue, and improving the life of their customers, like Plentific. Will be around the table. So it's not a technological initiative. It's a really a high visibility business endeavor from C-suite to the product.
Yeah.
And who was the ultimate? Sorry, Raúl, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say that in our case, it was almost like you mentioned, like almost all those stakeholders participated in the decision. And before going to market with our solution, we run some numbers and some models with the revenue operations department. So yeah, there's really going to be a lot of people involved, especially from the business side.
Great.
Perfect.
Okay, we just have time for 2 more questions. So our next one is, can you elaborate more about Looker Marketplace? How does it add value?
Looker Marketplace is where a lot of other companies are. A simple way of building data product. For example, when you look at Plentific, it's a SaaS application. Looker allows you to create also data application that could be shared on the marketplace to be connected into your internal business intelligence tool. I'm trying to give you an example. We have a marketplace, for example, where you can find an application for Google Analytics. you won't access this application via my system. You will be able to download an application and connect it directly to your Google Analytics data. And we have many companies building their own application. Let's say tomorrow, Raúl is building a new business model, Plentific application. I'm going to connect maybe to certain data sets, and Raúl can ship this application to me, connect it to my own data application. And Raúl, I'm not putting you on the spot. I'm not expecting you to do that, but I don't know if you're familiar with that. But for the person, so Maggie, if you ask this question, Google search on Looker Marketplace, and then the terminology in Looker is called Looker blocks. If there is value, there's ton of value. It's another channel of distribution. Like any product, think of physical, digital. The marketplace is another channel to increase your presence, increase your go-to-market strategy. Sorry, I went a little long. I know I think you said we had one more question. Maybe we can go a little bit overboard.
Yes, if that's okay, we just have one more that we'll cover today. And as Roderick mentioned in the chat, if you have any additional questions, please utilize the community, and the link is in the YouTube description. So our last one that we'll cover today is, you brought up Apogee and APIs. Could you please share a few examples of how you utilize Apogee to generate revenue from data for your customers?
Fascinating question. So when you looked at, for example, again, Plentific, you have access to the dashboard, and you have all this data. If tomorrow one of the largest customers of Raúl wants to get data into their system, you can take this data from Looker. Looker has an API endpoint that basically offers data as a service. And then when you wire this Looker API, again, data as a service, into Apogee, Apogee being an API brokerage that allows you to segment, sell your data, and create monetization strategy around the data itself via API. So when you combine those two products, again, like the marketplace, you create another channel of distribution for this data that you can monetize via payment, like a paywall. And examples of customers, I would say a third, if not more, of our customers are bundling this offering to augment the distribution channel. Thank you, Lauren, for this question. And thank you, Laurie, of course, for asking it.
Yes, thank you so much. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. Again, if you have any additional questions, we did run out of time today, but thank you all. We'll be monitoring the community for any questions. Feel free to tag me, and I'd be happy to surface it with the team and make sure that we're able to find a response for you. With that said, though, thank you so much, Raúl, Skander, for this presentation and sharing your insights and demo. Any final thoughts or recommendations before we close out today?
I was just happy to share the panel with Raúl and yourself. That was really exciting, and I hope we shared some insights with our community. So
likewise, it was a pleasure being here.
Thanks, Raúl.
Thank you all, and we hope to see you next time. Appreciate it, and have a good rest of your day, evening, or wherever you're joining us from. Thank you again.